Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
I do think it's interesting how backseat drivers always are saying like the same kinds of things like, why am I blindfolded? Why are you taking me into the woods? And it's like, it's annoying after a while, right? Just trust me.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to The Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic and once in a while even interesting dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, but also we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
I am Skinny.
And
I'm
between
Mr.
us...
M.
Oh, sorry, I talked over you. Say it again.
I'm Mr. M.
Mr. M is back.
Mr. M.
Yeah.
When you're this big,
Come
they
back,
call you
number
Mr. M.
And today, just to set it off on the right foot is...
Goby, this is no time to be a backseat driver.
Gobi!
This is no time to be a backseat driver.
There it is. Backseat driver.
Hey, that's
Backseat
my
driver.
costume for next year. I mean, I got the Shaggy going on. Got the
Nice.
hair.
Tune into YouTube to see just how Shaggy-like Mr. M
We were
is.
discussing because he's like, I just keep growing out my hair.
No,
And
I'm getting it. I need to get it cut.
I don't even care if you get it cut. I'm just like, where's it going? Like, I think
What's
in
the plan?
general, like,
Less
so
than this.
there's like a reverse plan, like where it's like I'm shaving my head because there's a look I'm after, and then I'm growing it out to become what? Just keep growing it, or is there like
I need to cut it because
I want that Brad Pitt look.
Well,
Bradley
if someone
Pitts?
looks at me from behind, they might think I'm a girl. So
Maybe.
yeah, I
If
have.
it was too long,
Well,
it's not too
does a
long.
girl with short hair?
No, there's all sorts of like.
Well,
But I think
that's saying I look like a girl with no hair.
like a poor
That could be
girl
true, yeah.
experiencing like chemotherapy or something like that,
Oh.
or alopecia or something.
Right.
That could be you from behind.
Alopecia, appellation.
An Appalachian alopecia.
Oh, what?
Anyways, enough of ridiculous wordplay.
There we
It's
go.
so good. Backseat driving.
Backseat Driver is today.
Well.
Which brings me to my immediet question. Last time
Yeah,
Mr. M
yeah.
was here, you guys were about to set off on a week-long, a week
7 nights.
living the van life.
Van life, we did it.
So do tell.
I'd love to hear from Mr. Emma. We've just finished it up, so I'm curious about his thoughts. No hard feelings one way or another. What did you love? What did you hate?
Well, we got one of the pluses is we got to sleep everywhere at different nights, so we got to see like so many places. Like the night that we did the podcast for the first time, we slept near the water at White Rock. We
Like
slept
on the
at
beach?
Yeah. The closest one we probably slept was at our house in the driveway, but that was just for the last night.
The very last night when it was heading into his actual birthday, like his waking
wanted to
up,
wake up at
he wanted
home.
to wake up and do, because we have this like birthday tradition
Sure.
where you get served breakfast in bed, and he didn't want to have.
Did you get served breakfast in bed in the van?
No, I rolled out of bed, got into another bed.
Okay. That's
got
good.
out of van bed into his bed so
Good.
that he could get the tradition.
I love it.
Yeah, and then when that happened, I just rolled into the couch and went to third bed.
Third bed.
So
How far did you get? Third bed.
well, we didn't cover all the details of yeah. Part of it was doing teen life, teen
Father,
experience.
son.
Yeah, so we didn't get into all the nuances of first bed, second bed, third bed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good though. So I'll be honest. I figured out where you were that first night.
Did you?
Because I was picking up my son from work at 12:30, and I'm like, let's go scare him. We're gonna bang on the side of the van. Or
I
something.
share my location with you,
Yeah,
so you can see where I am.
I can see where you're at. I wasn't sure if you still. It's been a while since I've even looked at that, and I'm like, oh, I can see where he is.
I make sure. I have
So-
a few friends who I'm like, I like you knowing where I am,
Beetlebat, yeah, just in case.
just in case you look.
Especially this week.
you need to find my phone.
So Beetlebat gets in the car. I'm like, hey, what do you think? We go find Mr. M and Skinny, and we slap the side of the van. And he's like, totally. I'm like, he had just finished a however long shift at the sawmill. And he's like, yeah, let's go. Okay, great. So I pull up the map. I'm like, there he is. They're way out in White Rock. Forget it. Like, it's already 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're not going out
I
there.
hadn't even considered being sabotaged by my friends, which could have happened.
If you'd been 15 minutes closer, it
That's
would have
funny.
happened.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, what else?
So that's cool. I like
Sleeping
it.
in different spots.
That is definitely a pro. Waking
Yeah,
up a different
well-
place every morning.
Well, And then it's also a downside because every night we have to pick a new spot. We have to find if it's the right location.
Oh yeah, what were some of the nuances of like ideal placements?
Well, they'll have to see day 6, I think it was.
The day 6 or day 7? Yeah.
Yeah, day 6, day 7. We will say the good spots if you're ever trying to do the same thing as we did.
Yeah, what makes it a good spot?
Yeah, you can go ahead and tell them again.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. So one of them is that it's in like a cul-de-sac, so other people aren't driving by. That's one of them is also that you can't be near like a main road or near a sidewalk. Like the side that you're parking on can't have a sidewalk because people can just walk right by and see that there's a person sleeping in a van
Right.
on a mattress.
So you don't have tinted windows.
No. You know what? Lightly, yeah. But not so dark that you couldn't just, as you were walking by, see like just the homeless situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but those were excellent, like off the beaten path.
And did you think of those
Ideally
things
cul-de-sac.
before, or did you learn good placement as you went along?
Learned it as we went along.
Yeah.
We're like, this seems like a good spot. It's like, what if someone walks by right there? Yeah, but if we cross onto this side of the road where there is no walking sidewalk, then
I would think too that
That would be
parking
better.
where there's other like if you're parking in just street parking, parking near other vehicles is better than solo van in the dark weird street.
exactly,
Yeah,
you're blending in.
We actually had like a conversation on that because if you just see one lone car just parked there, you're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah, cops might go,
Yeah.
what's going on here? And
Right.
knock.
yeah. But then if there's say like 10 in a row and you just join in, it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
totally.
It's like a conga line.
No one's suspicious of a conga line.
There's a T-shirt right there. No one's suspicious of the conga line. Love it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
that person that's doing.
So, Mr. M, overall, the whole week in a nutshell, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. 2
Yeah.
big white thumbs up.
it was pretty epic. We did some epic things.
Yeah, what were the adventurous?
Oh man,
I mean,
so
sleeping in a van is adventurous.
we
but
documented it. So it is on the channel under a playlist called Van Life. 3-minute video every day to just kind of capture bits and pieces of it. We
Well, here, before you continue, I know this is just audio, but Skinny will tell you where you can find these videos. But here's a clip I found that I thought would be fun to listen to. This is the morning of day 4, I believe.
Hello, I am Gleefully Skinny.
Mr. M.
And we're in day 4 of our 3-minute Gone adventure, our little father-son hangout. This morning we are in lovely Fleetwood for the sunrise. Good night's sleep?
Yeah.
A little bit chilly.
He's
Today's
sleepy.
sponsor is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Why Tim Hortons?
This
Because question 1 that people have been asking is where you guys like going to the bathroom and that morning thing. So for the price of a cup of coffee, you get to use their bathroom.
Yeah, so people can come watch all 7 days, right?
all 7 days. There's some fun stuff along the way. One morning when we were in Coquitlam near Mundy Park, because we wanted to start the day frisbee golfing.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That
And
was
so-
not as good of a frisbee golf day.
It was raining, but we just made the best of it.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Is what it is.
Van life.
But I had to. It was like I got to go to the washroom first thing in the morning. Okay, there's a Starbucks like 2 minutes from here. Okay, let's hit the Starbucks. Sorry, you can't use the washroom. There's staff washrooms right now with the rows going around. Okay, fair enough.
Roro's being COVID.
Yeah,
Or
what?
Corona.
Sure. And then so next stop off to the McDonald's. Like McDonald's is always open. Our lobby is closed right now with the rows, so you can't come in. No one into the
gonna make
lobby.
me laugh every time.
Oh man, okay. Now I'm ready to burst. We hit up, so keep moving down the road off to Tim Hortons, and it's like, okay, washroom. Oh, it's there. It's not like, and so you go to the door, it's like it's locked. It's like, oh, I'll probably just have to go to the front and get a key or that sort of thing. It's like, hey, just get a cup of coffee and use your washroom. Oh, the washroom. There was a homeless gentleman in there like an hour ago, and he just like exploded
no.
everywhere, and so we have to have a cleaning crew come in and take care of that. No problem. And I'm like, I'm gonna blow up. So we just ran across the street to a restaurant that happened to be open at 7 in the morning. I didn't even ask. I just walked right
Marched
through the
in.
line, just walked right through everything. Don't look anybody in the eye. Worked my way to the bathroom, and there you go. It's just so something as insignificant that you would take for granted as just being able to go to the washroom in the morning
Morning little
becomes problematic.
Washroom break, yeah.
Yeah. So that was our kind of morning routine, was to get a hot chocolate and a coffee and hit the head. Yeah.
Wow. Good times. So
Shabam.
Frisbee golf, any other actual outings?
We went to a movie.
Oh, yeah. What movie did you see?
We saw The Nightmare Before Christmas because none of us had seen it before.
That was in the theater?
Yeah. It was
Like the
$5.
old one?
Our intent was to go to the drive-in on that particular one, but it was all like slasher flicks because it was just pre-Halloween. But we went up to Squamish and then up to Whistler. We went and sprayed.
Did an exit room.
We did an exit room. We spray painted trains. We got our spray cans and graffitied on trains. Yeah, we did some fun junk.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. That's like day 4.
Is that legal?
There was an authorized graffiti zone.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Some trains derailed, and then they're just like, well, we might as well just not get them on. It's going to cost more.
Get
so they
out
just
of here.
left them there.
Authorized graffiti zone.
Yeah, so we found it and then we graffitied it up. So it was fun.
That's awesome.
There's all these it was a fun adventure. Plus we worked our way through this Passport to Purity program, which is kind of like this coming of age, teenage
boyhood
stuff.
to manhood.
Yeah, boyhood to manhood, becoming a man. So
How to treat
now
a
he's
woman.
a man. Just
Now
boom.
you're a man.
Yeah, just like
awesome.
that.
When do you get married? Yeah, so you documented it all, and they're 3 minutes per day.
Yeah, you can just head to our YouTube channel. It's the YouTube channel we use for the Village Idiom. So
Look up van life.
3 minutes gone, all one word, and van life. Yeah,
Awesome.
And then there's a playlist there of all 7 days. So yeah,
That's
that
so fun.
Documents.
Well, I'm glad you guys are back alive and
So we
no
backseat-
slasher.
We backseat drove.
Yeah, that's why we picked today's idiom, which is great. And so before we get into the idiom, I just want to remind everybody about our sponsor, HelloFresh.
Awesome.
I guess you didn't experience any HelloFresh in van life.
No, the
you
only
did
fresh
some
thing was
cooking though,
the-
right?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
With the
We
rate.
tried to do 2 meals a day, and so whether it was
On the
breakfast,
fly.
lunch, or breakfast, dinner, or some combination. We did breakfast, lunch, dinner on certain days.
Wow.
But yeah, we only ate out at the restaurant. We hit Red Robin's once, and then while we were downtown, we grabbed pizza once.
Cool.
But other than that, we did a ton of cooking in the vehicle.
Well, it might be a little more difficult in your van, but
Nope.
not if you got the right appliances and setup. But if you're still at home in your own kitchen, HelloFresh is something you might want to consider.
Definitely.
Pre-measured ingredients come right to your door, fresh everything. There's vegetarian
So good.
options. This week we had an amazing Irish stew.
Oh,
The quick
family
Irish
together.
stew?
I know. Don't say it. What?
The
yeah,
quick
quick
Irish stew?
Irish stew.
I made that.
Did
Like
you make
I made
that?
it like the other week.
We loved it.
It's
loved
really
it.
good.
Roasted potatoes ahead of time that's added to the stew at the end. Delicious. So, if you're interested, if you'd like to try a free box,
awesome.
email us. Send us a message on Instagram, and we'll work out a way of getting them a code.
We'll get your code.
Get
We'll
you a free box. Try it out.
Awesome.
HelloFresh. Dinner solved.
Dinner is solved. Nice. Thank you, sponsors.
Well, our definition of our idiom today, backseat driver, is of course a passenger in the car who gives the driver unwanted advice. Are you a backseat driver, Mr. M?
No, I can't drive, so
No, but when you're in the back, you're like, oh, why didn't you turn there? Go faster. Watch out for that car. Why didn't you stop fully at the stop sign?
no.
No? Is anybody in your family like that?
I don't know. I don't drive. Yeah.
But you're in the vehicle with them.
Is
Is there anybody that's
I
always
have
like,
less
"Meh, meh, meh,
experience
meh."
with
It doesn't
that.
necessarily have
Be
to
more like-
apply to driving. It can apply to anything where you're like just people giving you unwanted advice or unsolicited advice.
Right, so that's true. If you dig into this a little bit, backseat driver can apply to any, like if you're watching somebody play video games and you're constantly
Do
going,
this.
why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? Oh, when I do this, I do that. Is that you?
Sometimes.
There it is. Confession time.
It's like if you're not receiving the backseat driver stuff, you might be the backseat driver.
yeah. Backseat driver, and I'm trying to think of an example of where I might be that, but
Or if you're cooking or
Just
something.
that considerate, you don't do it.
maybe that's it.
Well-
You're also exceedingly humble.
Thank you.
The situations where you're cooking and you're like, oh, have you considered doing this or chop that a little smaller so that we're eating it, we're not all choking.
Right.
Yeah, if it's
So a little more literal definition of the phrase. When I was in the passenger seat teaching either of the boys how to drive, and at first you're constantly telling them what to do, and then after a while you gotta kind of catch yourself, like, oh, okay, well, you'll figure that one out. All right, zip, stop saying stuff, and but it's hard to stop being the teacher,
depending on how severe the consequences are.
right?
Yeah, because I know. Well, you have shared experiences where they needed to stop pressing the gas pedal.
Yeah,
The house can't take it anymore.
exactly.
There's a definitely. I remember like a situation where I called shotgun and then was forced into the back seat. I hate the police when you're just out, you're yelling shotgun, and they're like throw you into the paddy wagon like that. It just doesn't seem right. I'm like, I called shotgun. You know what I'm saying?
Very sad.
I feel like there's a behind the scenes story to whatever just was said there.
Not really.
Shotgun, a battle of brawn in
Hopefully
the family
not.
for
I
shotgun.
hope there's not a
Oh, no, you guys have
No,
shotgun rules.
Well, we have a schedule.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we don't have shotgun rules.
schedule.
We have just
That's hilarious.
We just schedule it out. There's 6 of us, and so having who gets which seat,
Yeah,
you can end it all by just
with the
creating a schedule.
Look at the calendar.
It's like, if it's a backseat day for you, if you're a backseat driver, or if you're in the mid position.
Well, what do you say we get into the background of said idiom?
Sure. Before we get too far into that, I do think it's interesting how backseat drivers always are saying like the same kinds of things, like, why am I blindfolded? Why are you taking me into the woods? And it's like, it's annoying after a while, right? Just trust me. Okay,
Trust me,
let's just get into this.
There's a designated graffiti spot.
Let's just get into it.
On that note, when I do have a backseat driver, I like why aren't you going faster? That will slow me down. I will.
You just do the opposite.
100%.
Just so
if somebody is
stop
behind
you.
me and honks, especially if I'm like,
You're that guy.
Whoop, didn't see it turn green, then I'll speed up. But if they're honking, I'm like, really? Oh my goodness, I am a turtle on the road at that point.
A turtle.
Just staying in front of that person, like
T-E-R-D-L-E.
you honked at the wrong driver with a smile on my face. Good to see you. A big wave. Anyway, all right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
What in the world is my problem? Okay, that's it. I'm fixing it.
Said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Well, I hope you were all singing along with that. I know that Tater Tot 76, I think. I know her family's always singing along with that. Appreciate the faithful listeners. Well, let's get into the origins of this. I was surprised by what I found. Did you dig in very deep?
Super deep, like I always do.
All right. Well, backseat driver, as a descriptive term, started during the dawn of the what invention?
The car?
Correct. The automobile in the late 19th and early 20th century, when some cars were quite literally driven from the back seat. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah. So I had to...
Like, does it only have one seat?
No. So I
What?
had to look at pictures. An example can be found on the what was it called? 1903 Stevens Duryea Runabout. So I'll post this picture later on, but you can see they drive back here, and you can have passengers up front here on the bumper.
That's crazy.
And this particular car, and a lot of the older ones, the steering was done by a tiller. Do you know what I mean by that? So it's almost like a rudder. So instead of a steering wheel,
like a boat?
it's almost like a boat, which makes sense. Like a boat, you're driving back here, and sometimes there's seat up at the bow.
Forgive me. So the picture, if you could imagine, like the old Model T type Ford, except there's a couch strapped to the front,
Yeah.
which sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It almost looks like a stagecoach, but you'd be steering from inside.
It'd be like the guy from Mad Max, who's strapped to the front of the vehicle,
just hope there's not a
referring
car
to the
crash.
actual driver as the backseat driver.
Right.
What happens when he goes too fast and plows you into something?
You are the bumper.
You're like the new airbag.
You're the front seat bumper.
The last thing to go through his mind
was what?
His legs. Yeah.
So backseat-driven cars commonly utilize a tiller steering mechanism, which I told you, because it was attached to a rear steering axle via a chain. And cars of that age were rear-wheel drive simply because it was closer to the tiller was closer to the rear wheel is why they had it like that. By the 1910s, the steering wheel had totally taken over, but still had some backseat drivers. In fact, some car companies continued to utilize the tillers and the backseat drivers for marketing, not for practical reasons. So one car called the Milburn Light Electric. Milburn Light Electric. I don't think it was actually electric, but anyway. It was one of the earliest cars that was marketed directly to women, which is possible why Backseat Driver is often sexistly, is that a word? Aimed at women, like the female being the backseat driver.
But really?
But this car was marketed for women.
If we go anywhere, there is a 90% chance that my wife is driving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like guaranteed. I love it when she drives, and I'm quite content to sit in the passenger, the back seat, whatever.
Stereotypically,
but I do a little bit of backseat driving from the passenger seat, and drives her crazy. She's like,
I've noticed that when I'm driving with you, you're like, oh yeah, you have your maps on? Do you know where you're going? And I'm like, oh, I'm reading you loud and clear. Did I miss a turn, Vince?
I don't know what's wrong with me. What a control
it doesn't bother
freak.
me though.
No, but enough that you would bring it up on the podcast.
I've never brought it up before.
I know. I've never heard this before. Can't even work on it. Yeah.
So
actually, I have heard it before from my wife. So, but I just apparently don't work on it.
So this car, Milburn Light Electric, was marketed for women, and there is some evidence that stereotypically referring to as the backseat driver being the woman in the car. But this car was not only designed for women, it kept the tiller steering in the back so you could be in the back. But
how is it designed for women? They're the same shape as us.
No, it's because of this. They sit in the back seat, and the front seat is different than the picture. I don't have a picture of this one. It doesn't really, it shows the car, but you can't really see. The front seat is inside the cabin with her, facing her. So it's set up like a lounge inside the car. So you're facing your passengers, driving from the back seat.
Oh, I get it.
What if you
but I think
so. It's like a little living room in your car.
What a distracting driving
thing. The front
thing.
seat is facing backwards. The back seat is facing forward, and you're driving from the back seat.
From the back. The front seat is facing you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sounds really awesome.
I know. You got to bear in mind that
I would like that.
1910, what does it say? They're not going very fast, right? Like they're
how is
going
that just for ladies?
A stroll through the...
I would love that.
Because back then, the women, they need to get together, need to have their tea and coffee and chit-chat, and men just have, I got to get there. I got to get from A to B.
That sounds misandrinist.
Yeah. So that was a Milburn Light Electric. It had a decent amount of access. So much so, even the Secret Service under President Woodrow Wilson was one of the best customers for that car. So I guess the president would entertain people in that car. My phone is ringing off the hook here. Good thing I have it on silent, and you would have never known except that I brought it up. So yeah, it was half decent popular car. I would love to see this car.
What do you think of this, Mr. M? If there's a vehicle where we're just all facing each other while one person drives?
That sounds like someone's about to die.
They're probably going 20 kilometers an hour, though, 20 miles an hour at the most.
Well, if you're talking just in terms of distracted driving, putting a whole dinner party in front of you, that seems worse than like a cell phone.
Totally.
And what if they're a big person you can't see over them? It's like, am I going left or right?
Fatty in the back.
Take off the top hat.
You're so tall. Why do we all wear hats? That's funny. Marge Simpson can't sit in the front.
Having but I overall like the idea. Perhaps when our autonomous vehicle age kicks in,
there you go,
that we can flip that around.
I remember flying with Southwest, I think, and we had a seating arrangement like that on one of their planes. One single time, all the traveling I did, one time we had 2 and 2 facing each other, playing cards on our
like a train
flight. Yeah,
Trains
like a train. But I'd never seen it on a flight.
So I guess the only reason that way for not doing it is space conservation, so that everyone can tip back for rest.
Totally. Yeah.
So it would leave.
And there's probably some safety thing with that.
Well, you'd think that impact would be better if you're facing back to it.
You think?
I know.
Oh.
Like we do it with children's seats. Like.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Never thought about that.
Anywho.
Well, I'm going to get into some of the earliest references, published references, but here we go.
Nobody likes the backseat driver, Klaus. Be sure and tell me when that turn is coming up.
One of the earliest published.
Lemony Snickets.
Oh, you're so smart with that. One of the earliest published reference to Backseat Driver in the negative can be found in the Sun newspaper from 1915, and it goes a little something like this. Hit it. The backseat driver takes it upon herself to do all the duties. See right there, immediately says herself.
Okay, I will bring this up. Max.
Yes.
You verify.
Okay.
If we're in a van situation, traveling anywhere, who's in charge of snacks?
Probably you.
No, in terms
well,
of...
for the driving, yeah, because she has the snack compartment. But then again, you're the person who, when Zoe got a cut, you're like, do you have bandage? She's like, no, but I got some M&Ms.
I don't know how I got thrown under the bus, because that's not where I was going.
The backseat driver got thrown under the bus.
No kidding. So our arrangement is often it's, if it's Deb driving or I'm driving, but often Deb driving, whoever is the passenger is in charge of snacks.
Oh, okay.
So whoever, they've got the cooler and the bags with the snacks, and they're responsible for doling out snacks to the back. So the passenger is the snack distributor. That's how that rolls.
Interesting.
That seem very fair.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Totally.
Yeah,
All right,
regardless of whether...
Backseat driver takes it upon herself to do all the duties of a chauffeur, except, of course, run the car, which is a minor matter. She endeavors to push her French heels through the floor every time she thinks the car should be stopped in an imaginary motion of applying the brakes. But the most confusing habit of all, of those chronically addicted to backseat driving, is signaling with the hands as if to stop or turn a corner or change the course in any direction. So that's how dated this is when you're using hand signals. But... yeah, making fun of the woman in the car who obviously knows how to drive if she's applying imaginary brakes. So at least that's a good thing. In the invention of automobiles, it wasn't sexist like women don't drive. In fact, they were marketing cars to women. And in that day and age, that's pretty great.
I love it. I love it.
Let me give you one more here.
Sure.
Ingenious devices joyriders today displays. Again, the Sun in 1915. Maybe now, the next time your friend attempts to backseat drive, you can regale them with this interesting trivia. Oh, no, I'm reading the wrong part. I'm reading the
front seat driving
reference.
One. That's a mess.
The other reference, this was an earlier one. Okay, so that one I thought was interesting. This is an early one, 1891. This has to do with horse races at Rush Park. If at all interested in human nature, the patronizers of a racecourse never fail to receive the full value of their entrance money. For there is no richer gold mill to explore than is found within these gates. I love the way they wrote back then. All sorts and conditions of men, characters, until you begin to think that every man has a romantic history. Their past, present, and future somehow or other leaks out, and between heats, these choice morsels are passed around for the refreshment of the crowd. Who is that awful-looking man in a union suit of blue jeans? And is he in a glass cage? That is W.H.H. Colby of Fort Dodge. His glasses are almost as large as a baseball catcher's muzzle and made after his special order, though you won't find another man on the turf who would care to pattern after them. However, he is no backseat driver and knows how to make a few $100,000s. So, interestingly enough, that is the oldest reference they could find to being backseat driver, and it is implying it's a negative thing because it's saying he's no backseat driver. He knows how to make thousands. But they really don't know how this term is accepted in this particular case.
Another aspect of the backseat driver is that the need to have someone call like your directions or like maybe you should be doing this. So many of those things are covered now with your GPS and phone.
Right. Well, I was thinking about it like
what's the speed in your area? Your phone will tell you.
Isn't literally the term navigator basically a backseat driver? Your navigator is somebody telling you.
Right. When they do road rally, it's like it's two pairs. You have a driver and navigator.
Right. And the navigator is just a backseat driver.
In the front seat.
In the front seat. Or via radio.
And it's...
Navigator. Backseat driver.
We'll move along. But in that particular situation, it's like it's a positive.
Yeah.
You need
A navigator.
A navigator.
You need a backseat driver.
So is it at some point it turned naggy?
Yes.
Because
100%.
there's also in my mind
Or-
the situation of the fire truck, the old school fire truck.
That's called a backseat driver.
Yeah.
And uses the tiller.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, those particular fire trucks that they're turning back axle or turning back
And
wheels
it's
so
called-
that it can navigate big corners.
Called backseat driver on the hook and ladder.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Where did this get negative?
Women.
I am disassociating myself. I got enough problems in life.
In
man.
that one article, it wasn't even about the talking. It was about, you're digging your heels into the brakes on the floor.
I do that.
I know. So it doesn't have to be naggy. It could be just that you're acting in a way. It's kind of like when you're watching somebody, going back to video games, you're watching somebody and you start you lean with them. You're doing the motions even though you don't have a controller in your hand because you're so used to being in control. Maybe that's all it is. You're so used to being at the wheel, literally, that you can't help but do the actions, the motions, and think, whoa, I thought we were turning there. Why didn't we? Okay, whatever.
Maybe. So,
Anyway.
I don't know. Maybe there's some weird control thing in it, but it got negative. But it didn't seem to start this way.
Anyway, there you go.
Anywho, well, we are clipped out on time, man.
Yeah, we had a little extra bonus pieces, but
shnikes.
we're going to wrap it up here as quick as we can, but
Yeah,
we're not going to
yeah,
leave
yeah,
out
yeah.
the good stuff.
No. We got to head into the Riddlinks. That's one of our favorite aspects.
Well, Riddlink is a game we like to play that it takes a two-part, usually a trivia-based question, and requires a two-part but overlapping answer. So let me give you an example. Last week, Mr. M, when you were here, I don't know if you remember, I said this was Actions Speak Louder Than Words episode. This zigzag-shaped flat braided fabric trim says things noisier through doing. Do you remember? We talked about the answer after. Do you remember the answer?
No.
Oh, man. This zigzag-shaped flat braided fabric trim is called rickrack. Do you know stuff I'm talking about? Rickrack is little... Anyway. And our idiom was actions speak louder than words. So the correct answer would be rickractions speak louder than words.
Like what he says is like, I don't know. That happened a week ago. It's like a whole year has passed. It's so funny.
Does that kind of sound like Scooby-Doo is saying that? Rickractions speak louder than words. Anyway.
Well, I got one for you. See if you guys can get this. It's got a little bit of old, a little bit of new.
Yeah, give it to me.
Sir Mix-a-Lot's song needs directions from the rear.
Baby's got backseat driver. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah,
that's too old of a song.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Yeah, Baby's got back. What do you got
when
for us?
we were your age, maybe a little bit older. Okay, I got one. Notre Dame's Quasimodo would boss the chauffeur around. Got it?
Tell me again.
Whew. Notre Dame's Quasimodo would boss the chauffeur around.
Notre Dame's Quasimodo is like the Hunchback.
Yeah, from Notre Dame.
Hunchback.
A hunchback driver?
Yeah,
Hunchback seat driver.
Hunchback seat driver.
I couldn't mentally separate Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, funny.
And I kept going.
That's why I threw Notre Dame in the clue.
I just couldn't rip it apart somehow in my brain.
Okay, do you have any today, or are you coming in blind?
I'm often blind.
Okay.
Well, let me throw in another one.
Go for it.
Gospel singing backseat driver.
What?
With a box of orange pasta.
Gospel singer, backseat driver. Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
I have no clue.
I'm going to take it then. Toby Mac and Cheese?
It's Toby Mac and Cheese.
Yes. Okay, I got one more, but remind everybody how they can get a hold of us really quick.
You can reach out to us at on Instagram, the.village.idiom, or email us, thevillageidiom@gmail.com, or whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, we're at 3 Minutes Gone, all one word.
All right, here's our last one. Football's thrower will tell you where to go. One more time. Football's thrower will tell you where to go.
Tight, man. I like it.
Thanks for playing along, everybody.
That's 3 Minutes Gone.
Village idiom.
Nicely done.
So as we wrap that through, thank you so much for being our guest today and telling us a bit about your adventure.
Letting me be here, Dad.
You're welcome, son.
I'm
Are you
so
winning,
glad
son?
you guys had a good week.
Are you winning, son?
All right. Well, I am Jurassic Miss Daisy Mark.
And I'm Skinny.
I'm Mr. M.
And we have had a lovely time with you today.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Last 3 minutes gone.